Today we are gathered to celebrate the graduation of Class 20-003. For the past 3 weeks, these NCOs have learned leadership, counseling, coaching, mentoring, Army writing, critical thinking, and problem solving to prepare them as leaders from their respective recruiting and retention battalions. At this time, it is with great pleasure to introduce the Oklahoma Army National Guard Productions Operations Sergeant Major Matthew Brown. Sergeant Major Brown was born in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and enlisted in the active Army in 1997. He completed multiple launch rocket systems, or better known as MLRS, crewman 13 Mike training at Fort Sill, Oklahoma in July 1997. Sergeant Major Brown is currently serving as the Production and Operations Sergeant Major for the Oklahoma Recruiting Battalion. Sergeant Major Brown's leadership positions include Ammunition Section Squad Leader, MLRS Fires Section Chief, MLRS Lead MOSQ Instructor, RSP Platoon Sergeant, Recruiting and Retention NCO Section Chief, Recruiting and Retention NCOIC, Recruiting and Retention Region First Sergeant, Senior Operations NCO, and Production and Operations Sergeant Major. His civilian education consists of an associate's degree from Seminole State College and a bachelor's degree from the University of Oklahoma. His military education includes the Primary Leadership Development Course, Total Army Instructor Course, Basic Non-Commissioned Officers Course, Non-Career Recruiter Course, 79 Tango Conversion Course, the Senior Leaders Course, and the United States Army Sergeant Major Academy. Sergeant Major Brown began recruiting in 2004 and was a production recruiter for 10 years. He made his annual mission 9 months out of 6 times of the year. He operated as a team NCOIC for 4 years and was the NCOIC of the Year twice for leading the state's top recruiting team. Sergeant Major Brown's award and decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal, Army Commendation Medal, Army Achievement Medal, the Kosovo Campaign Medal, Korea Service Medal, NATO Medal, Overseas Service Ribbon, and an Expert Recruiting Badge, among many others. Sergeant Major Brown is married to his wife, Sherry, and they married on July 8, 1997. They reside in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and have 3 children, Noah, who is 19, Gabrielle, 16, and Addison, who is 14. It is a pleasure to introduce to you Sergeant Major Brown.
Thank you for those kind words. I apologize for that, guys. I know that was rough. I don't know if I've ever sat there long enough to hear that much about myself ever in one sitting, but I was ready for it to be over. I was almost looking forward to the speech. First of all, I want to thank the staff here for having me. I will let you guys know this was short notice for me. I found out this out about a day or so ago, so I've seen a lot of graduation speeches, and I'm going to go a little bit different route today. I'm going to really talk to you guys personally about maybe some experiences I've had, maybe some things that have helped me along the way as far as production and being a leader in the production field. You guys can take with it what you want. If you don't like it, one ear out the other, but just want to keep it real light today, okay? Again, I want to thank everybody for the invite, for being here. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like every time I come here, everyone here has been converted and is going to be a leader inside of in the recruiting battalion. So you guys this is your first trip to Peck? Impossible, right? We come here all the time, and every time I come here, I always think, Little Rock, man, that's the best, I always think could not have been Hawaii or Florida or something, but you know what? A Little Rock it is, guys. So I appreciate you guys being here, and normally I would say, hey, you guys have done a great job completing the course, but I know it can't be too tough because I see my man Ruben Gonzalez over here. When I was a first NCOIC, he was on my recruiting team. So I know if he made it through, it couldn't have been too tough on you guys, right? Yeah. I'm just kidding. He's actually one of our state's best, and I'm sure you guys are too. Okay, this is not a easy job. Would you guys agree? In your states, you guys have tons of AGR full-time personnel banging down the door to come over and do a recruiting gig? Anybody? Crickets? No? I don't know why not, you know. They think everybody comes in at 2 or 10 and then leaves at 2, right? Get your G card to go do whatever you want. That's what they all see anyway. But as you guys sit here, you guys know that's not the whole picture. You know, there could be times that you guys come in at 10, but what they didn't see is you were at an applicant's house at 8 or 9, right? So, you know, when I first heard I was going to come do this, like I said, a short notice, I was a little bit nervous because they didn't know what, they're like, hey, you're going to be a guest speaker. I'm like, oh, what am I going to be a guest speaker for? When they said the SLC graduation, I'm like, all right, I can do that. Talking to my people, you know, I mean, I've been where you guys are at. Hopefully you guys aspire to obviously continue to progress and go through the ranks in your recruiting battalions, however they're set up. And I have no doubt that our state, we really focus on not converting people who aren't here for the right reasons and who don't have what it takes to be leaders, okay? And that's what we're going to get into here in a little bit. As I mentioned, this is a hard job. Why is it hard? Anybody from the audience here? What's hard about it? What are the full-timers scared of? Mission, right? That mission over your head. Everyone's scared of the mission, right? When I first started, I was like that too. I'm not saying I would have shake my mom for enlistment, but I might have thought about it, okay? I mean, we've all been there. If you want to be an up-and-comer, you want to go hard, we've been there, okay? But when you guys get to where you're at now, you really have to refocus your concentration on not just getting your mission, but being able to lead soldiers, which is why the curriculum here is set up for you guys to really be complete leaders, okay? You know, the mission is the mission. I used to have an office partner, and we would say, it might as well be $1 million. Doesn't matter what the mission is, okay? And you guys really have to look at this as the mission is going to be the mission. If it's $1 million, if it's 5, guys, you have to be able to handle it smoothly and also push that down to your recruiting teams, okay? Because that's the number one thing I see is you guys have recruiters out here who've been on the street 6 or 8 months who are extremely stressed and their home life is tanking. And I'm a firm believer this job should not do that. It should not cause you marriages. It should not cause you personal life if you're doing it right. And that's going to be something I talk about here in a little bit. It's going to be your charge as a leader to ensure that you are monitoring that, okay? Of course, there is the mission. Something else that's hard about this job, would you guys agree some things are out of your control? Some things are out of your control. You know, you floored, how many here have floored 3 or 4 people, 5 people in a month, and maybe squeaked by with 1? Maybe none. Maybe you floored 3. Hey, why'd this guy roll a donut? Well, boss, he freaking floored 4 people. Now, some of that could have been on you. Maybe you didn't give a good MEPS pre-screen. I don't know. Maybe you're throwing crap on the wall and hoping it sticks. I don't know. But my point is, I've always focused on telling new recruiters, the toughest part about this job is the ends don't always justify the means. There are some times when you guys aren't doing anything and your phone rings. You guys ever got that call? That's an enlistment. Just because you answered it, and so Johnny knows Jimmy, and Jimmy wants to join. Did you do anything for that at that moment? You weren't working for it. You'd already done that work with Johnny months or a year prior. But the rapport you built as a leader, which we're going to talk about, adds to it. There's times when you're on the phone, countless times, calling, maybe for an hour and you don't get anything. It's frustrating, right? That's what you guys are going to have to, that's where experience in this job is really going to help you guys, and you really need to pass that on to your recruiters who work for you, okay? I don't know how your states are set up. I don't know if you guys are already in leadership positions, but I feel strongly about this career field. I had a sergeant major tell me one time that in front of a crowd of recruiters, I heard him say, recruiting is not a career path, out of his mouth. And we were a room full of recruiters. We're looking around like, man, what's this guy talking about? What do you mean it's not a career path? It's literally called career recruiter, I thought, once you converted. But, you know, so there are folks out there who feel that way, but you guys are the best of the best. You guys are the key to your state's, if you like it or not, you key to your state's dollars. Who here is in a state where there's a high focus put on production? Anybody? I know in our state, the tag, he's all over every day when we send a production report out. Tag, our DJS, general officers are all over it. It's important. Okay, so I want you guys to really know that. Okay, odd hours, that's something else that is a struggle in this job. Okay, you have to control it. Okay, everyone here is a seasoned recruiter. Okay, so I'm not telling you how to recruit, but what you guys got to focus on is pushing that down to your people. If you see them burning the midnight oil all the time, you know, you guys have to pay attention to those signs. There are odd hours, but I promise you, I made mission every year. Like he said, 6 of my 10 years, I made it in 9 months. So that was my focus. I would get it early, and my NCOIC knew at that point, you're probably going to get 1 out of me every month from here on out. That's about it, which was fine. So you guys really need to manage your schedule, manage your people's schedule. I see that time and time again is when you first get here, a lot of recruiters are a one-man show, right? You're your own business. I don't know if you guys work as a team or not, but you guys really need to focus on managing and monitoring your people's hours and ensuring that they are keeping up with not only the personal side, but what else is it easy to lose track of? Physical fitness, right? Okay, you guys are still in the Army, so are your soldiers. Okay, you cannot let them get so wrapped around the axle of production and numbers that everything else falls. That is what has caused the negative outlook on recruiting from years past. And that's not what we're about. I can assure you our state 2 years ago did not released the top producing recruiter in the whole state because he couldn't pass the PT test. So if your state's not there, I bet you it's coming because we're still in the military, so that's something that's very important. And it's hard to manage in here because everyone gets wrapped around the axle on their number. The number's going to be there, guys, okay? Something else that's hard about this job, okay? The weird encounters that you guys have. How many times have you had something that these guys cannot teach in a classroom? Yeah, I went to a house one time and I had a dad tell me, I don't want her to join because I know you guys inject her with crazy stuff at basic that makes her listen to you. I'm like, what do you say to that? You know, I mean, there's no common sense in that, but that's what he thinks. There's no manual for that. You guys teach that at the course? Obviously not, okay? You guys are going to see things in this job and you already have that are hard to teach in a classroom, okay? But your experience, your time on the street will give you guys the tools to pass it down. It's crucial that you do not hold on to that like it's your precious, okay? Spread the knowledge, what your struggles are, let others know how you overcame that, and that's going to be the key to success on your recruiting teams, okay? Something else that's hard about this job, I feel, is there is no genie in a bottle, okay? I feel some people might argue there is 5121 and 1, we still teach that? Is that still a thing? That's correct. Okay, now, would you guys agree that if everybody does that, everyone's going to get their 18 to 24? Is that true? Probably not. Just being real, guys. Okay? So this job requires a certain degree, I feel it's a good degree, of latitude of creativity. Okay? Do I have any former USAREC guys here? Are you guys in close contact with your USAREC counterparts? There's not a lot of creativity going on over there. Am I correct? It's it's very regimented. You will stay here 2 hours tonight. You will make cold calls until you get 10 appointments. Go. There's not a lot of creativity in that. Would you guys agree you guys have a great degree of latitude with creativity? With what do you want to do in your schools? Have you guys set something up that's a good moneymaker for you? Things like that, I feel, is a strong point of the National Guard. And that's, again, something, as your experience calls on, don't hold that close. Share it, okay? And that's going to be something you guys are going to need to do going into a leadership position, okay? So there is no genie in a bottle. There is no if you do this. And I think that's what makes it harder, and I think that's what makes it different than any other MOS in the Army, right? You're a supply guy, you're an infantry guy, you're an artillery guy. I know as an artillery guy, I knew you had to go get your hides, and you had to go get your fires, you set up in your launcher point, you had to be on heading. It's all in a manual and easy to do. You can duplicate it, right? It's a process, okay? Where your leadership and your experience comes in is I always look at this job as twofold. You have your science, which is what they teach here. Everything that they said earlier is stuff I feel like is grossly overlooked in a recruiting battalion a lot of times, and I'm sure they see that. I mean, you have guys here that haven't counseled anybody in years or haven't done an NCOE on year, which is fine. That's why this school's in place, right? Come learn this stuff, take it back, be a complete leader, okay? But the difference with those jobs is you can set those checkpoints up on a normal MOS. If you do it, you'll be successful. If you get on the heading, if you hit fire, your rocket's going to go where it's supposed to go. A little bit different here, right? That's where the art comes in. Art is hard to teach, okay? It's what I feel is probably, they can't really teach it at the schoolhouse as much because it's hard to grade. Would you guys agree? It's hard to grade. You know, I can sit down and conduct an appointment and I can hit all the checkpoints, right? But there's an art to reading people, to getting them to the end of the cell, to getting them to buy in, to getting them to process the paperwork, moving them along in the process, okay? And that's where the art comes in. And that's where you guys are so important, okay? Because recruiting is like a revolving door. It is in my state. People come and people go. But the ones who stay, who convert, you guys are the steady fixtures in the battalion, okay? So it's really coming on you to pass that on and take your knowledge that you know and go with it, okay? On the leadership, okay, experience. Why is it so important? Just like I said, it's not always teachable stuff that you guys go through with your time on the street. Would you guys agree? You're going to see stuff where your projections didn't go through, or this didn't happen, or when I went to a school, that happened. Again, stuff that's not always taught in classes. That's why your experience on the street, guys, is going to be crucial to your success as a leader inside of a recruiting battalion, because not everything is in a manual. There's a lot of stuff off the beaten path that I've learned that you can't read it anywhere. It's just good practice, okay? Attitude and outlook is so important in this job. I really feel like, how do I say this without, in the other military jobs, you don't have to be a great people person to be a great soldier or be effective in that job. Would you guys agree? Right? You can go shoot rockets, you can go be a supply individual and not have great people skills, but if you get the job done, then nobody care, because you're still gonna grade out well. Not the same here, okay? You really have to caution your tone with your attitude, your mood, your motivation, and really your outlook on life and the job, and you have to press that down to your recruiters so they can work freely. I'm a sports guy. In baseball, it's a lot harder to play and not make errors when you're scared to make an error, when there's people yelling at you, when they're all over you. It's the same way with new recruiters, okay? You guys have to be holding that umbrella for them so they can get out and do what they need to do. And like it or not, a happy recruiter is going to be a better recruiter. If they look at this stuff like, hey, I enjoy my job, which probably all you guys I would assume do, or you wouldn't be here, I would hope. I think it's very important that you manage their mood, okay? Manage their outlook. A negative outlook in recruiting is detrimental because kids will smell it. Would you guys agree? You really have to have a short memory, okay? A good month or a bad month. After you hit 4 or 5 on that next month, guess what? It's over. You're on a 0 again, right? Short memory, good or bad, okay? What I've told people is focus on spreading the gospel of the guard. What I mean by that is your job isn't to get 2 a month or 18 a year, whatever your mission is. Your job is to recruit for the National Guard 12 months of the year. That's your job. That's what I tell my people. Show up, do your job. Okay? It's pretty simple, guys, but if you can get to where you look at it like that and your recruiters look at it like that, you're not going to have high turnover. They're going to stick because they see that you care about them. You really have to be careful in learning that your recruiters aren't you. Okay? Does anybody struggle with that? I do. Because I'm like, this was really easy for me. I could show up, I could sell this class. If I had 40 kids in a class, I should leave with 5 to 8 names saying, yes, I want to join. But that's not them. Okay, so what I had to learn is you have to let them be them because, again, kids will smell fake, right? Let them be them, but you have to get to a position where you're not just a good recruiter, you're a good manager, you're a good teacher, you're a good leader in recruiting. Does that make sense? Perfect. Like I mentioned earlier, it's important that you guys stay up on PT and COERs. That's why I think these schools are so important, because I think a lot of times this stuff is forgotten in the field. They just want you to chase that number and you forget the Army stuff, okay? And in closing, guys, I'm going to get off here. It's really important that you guys embrace the total soldier concept, okay? You cannot be a one-trick pony. You have to be able to manage your career and your people's career effectively. Okay, again, PT and COERs, everything that is Army is still there. Okay, you can't forget it and think, hey, I made mission, because I've seen NCOICs that are like that. They're good at making mission, none of their stuff squared away, they're on the naughty list, everything that comes out, all their people aren't up to date. Okay, you guys have to be complete NCOs, and the way I look at leadership, the most important thing is taking care of people. Okay, treat them like a person before a uniform. Okay, and I promise you, if your people know you are like that, they will bust through walls for you. They will give you the effort necessary so you can go to bed at night knowing your recruiters gave a good effort. You know what? The number's the number. You're supposed to get 1 million this month. Well, we only got 900. I'm okay with that if you are leading them correctly and your soldiers are giving you guys the effort and the attitude that you feel is necessary. I think if you take care of them, it'll all be tenfold. But that's all I have. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sergeant Major Brown, for those encouraging words.